December 31st, 2007. The most important night in the Japanese fight calendar. For combat sports promotions, New Year's Eve meant the biggest gates of the year and the largest television audiences. Millions of viewers across the country tuned in, waiting for the final spectacle before the new year began. That night, the stage was set at the Saitama Super Arena in Tokyo for Yarennoka, an MMA event organized by a committee of former Pride Fighting Championships executives. The show was produced in collaboration with fighting and entertainment group Deep and M1 Global. In the United States, the event aired on HDNet under the name Fedor Returns. In Japan, it was broadcast on the pay-per-view network Ski Perfect. And at the center of it all stood Fedor Emelianenko, undefeated since December 22nd, 2000. 7 years without defeat. The most dominant heavyweight in the world.
Told us in Portland last week, he thinks it's going to be a first-round decision, one way or the other for Fedor.
Across the ring stood Hong-Man Choi. The size difference was staggering. Fedor Emelianenko stood 1.86 meters tall and weighed 108 kilos. Choi towered over him at 2.19 meters and 159 kilos. It wasn't just a fight. It looked like a mismatch of proportions, a giant against the last emperor. Because of the massive difference in size and weight, a special rule was introduced for the bout. Just as in the earlier fight between Bob Sapp and Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, knees to a grounded opponent were prohibited. From the opening seconds, the problem was obvious. Fedor wasn't just fighting an opponent, he was fighting size itself. Choi used his reach immediately, grabbing and leaning his massive frame onto the Russian champion. At one point, he even trapped Fedor's arm, momentarily controlling him with sheer strength. But Fedor didn't panic. Instead of resisting the giant's power, he changed the terms of the fight. Dropping to the ground, Fedor invited Choi into his guard. It was a trap.
The size and the difference he has. Look how small Fedor looks underneath him. I think Choi's working with his...
Fedor quickly closed his guard and rotated his hips, locking in the armbar almost instantly. For a moment, it looked like the fight was over. But Choi was simply too large. Using his sheer size and strength, the giant managed to pull his arm free.
I can't believe he got out of that. That was tight. I thought it was over. Look how tight that armbar was. Fedor perhaps a little impressed himself there by Choi. Showing some redness around the face. And you can see there...
Early in the exchange, Fedor Emelianenko closed the distance aggressively. He stepped in with a lead hook, immediately clinching the much larger Hong-Man Choi. Driving forward, Fedor forced the giant toward the ropes. Then, using Choi's own momentum, he suddenly dropped his weight, falling backward while pulling the Korean fighter on top of him. It was deliberate. Fedor had taken the fight exactly where he wanted it. From inside the guard, Hong-Man Choi began throwing ground and pound, heavy strikes from above, powered by his massive frame. But Fedor Emelianenko didn't hesitate. As Choi shifted his weight to maintain balance, Fedor attacked again. He rotated his hips, isolated the arm once more, and extended his body with perfect leverage. This time there was no escape. The pressure was immediate. The giant had nowhere to go. Choi tapped. In just a matter of seconds, Fedor Emelianenko had solved a problem few fighters in history had ever faced, defeating a man more than 50 kilograms heavier.
He couldn't do anything with him. He couldn't sweep him over. It was just too big. It's difficult as you see Jean-Claude Van Damme and Fedor hugging in the corner there. It's just difficult to move a guy with that mass around, and you have to be correct. Obviously Fedor was technically correct, got that arm bar, was able to finish it.